Hello and welcome to another episode of Hit the Books Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Holcomb.
And I'm Emery Saunders.
And we're here to give you all the saucy deets on everything comics this week. For those of you unfamiliar with the show, this is your weekly comic book podcast where Emery and I, and perhaps a guest, go through the latest news, the new comic book releases from your local comic book shops.
Please support your local comic book shops.
And discuss some topics about the world of comics for your amusement. If that sounds like a good time, be sure to hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, right well elsewhere. It really does help us out. You can always find us on YouTube, Stitcher, and iTunes, and be sure to check out our website, www.htbvids.com, where you can find all the links to these things and plenty of other written content and lists. And we're looking into some other feeds in the near future here, possibly Spotify, SoundCloud, a few others. It's just a matter of working around their kind of walls to entry. So, this is our second official episode back, our third if you count our Aquaman review.
I do. I count it.
It was Aquaman. It was
a movie.
It was something. Be sure to check out our review for more details on that.
Oh, yeah.
What have you been reading?
What have I been reading? Much to my chagrin, I decided to check out a couple things because, I had heard some words here and there about how, like, there are some comics within Marvel that just weren't, engaging enough or really, like, telling a story worthwhile.
How dare you? Everything that Marvel writes is revolutionary and amazing, and you're just a hater.
Captain Marvel proved me wrong. I decided to get to the bottom of what was going on with these comics, and I started reading Shatterstar.
Which has to be the coolest name in all of comics.
Unfortunately, it's the name of one of the dumbest comics in all comics.
To be fair, the character is pretty dumb in concept, but it's still a kick-ass name.
It's a kick-ass name. I wish that they would, I don't know, do something kick-ass with it.
Speaking of kick-ass, how do you like my kick-ass mug right here?
This is pretty kick-ass.
Yeah, it's pretty kick-ass.
Yeah.
For our audio listeners, you can just hear me drink from it with our fancy schmancy new microphones.
Yes. Also, for our people listening to us just through the podcast, if you want to see what cup he's holding, check us out on YouTube.
Wonder Woman!
Way to give that one away. Oh my God.
How will they ever know? So, Shatterstar. Steaming pile of poop.
Narratively, it's almost as though this person thought that they had a really clever idea how to start a story.
Don't we all?
Yeah. And while something like that might work for television, having someone act as a narrator throughout, God, I can't talk. This book is so dumb, it has made me even dumber to the point where my speech has been getting a little impeded. A narrator should jump in at the beginning and at the end. They should not be showing up on every single page. I hate it. And it becomes very clear who the narrator is once you get to the very last page of the issue, and I swear to God, I have never been less enthused to try to even look at the second issue than I have been with this. both too much happened and nothing happened.
Well, that makes me sad because it is such a kick-ass name. It seems like such a waste.
It is a waste. There is a number of different things that they could be doing with this character, but they seem content to just have any and all things Shatterstar, like his life and all of the things that he's done revolve around one thing: Mojo World. Remember Mojo World?
I don't wanna.
Well, too bad.
Lame.
Guess where he's going back?
No.
Mojo World.
No. No. We'll just pretend that's not happening.
Just like I want to pretend Iceman isn't a comic.
Oh. You touched a sore spot for poor Emery here.
Speaking of things that I was reading that I hate, Iceman.
That's just because you're a hater.
You know what I hate? Bad writing.
Wow. Wow.
I also hate characters that express exactly one personality trait over the course of like 22 pages.
I know plenty of characters that do that. You'll have to narrow it down a little.
I get it. We've decided to really dig into the change that Bendis brought to this character. Thanks, Bendis. I get it. Iceman's gay now? Still kind of surprising to me, given the decades of history, but, you know, whatever. And if you're going to be gay, sure, feel free to express that. But that shouldn't be your defining characteristic.
I just think it's fun that his parents, who are totally cool with him being a ridiculously powerful snowman, have a huge problem with him liking dick. You don't care that he's basically a monster, but you totally care where he sticks his genitals. Doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense. But maybe that's just me. Like, either the parents are not tolerant or they are tolerant. I don't understand this weird dynamic that they're working in with his parents.
Like, oh, how wonderful. You have these powers and you're helping mankind, and oh, you're what? You're gay? Gay.
It's just, I feel like hopefully we're a little past this point, you know? Like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I live in a little enclosed world where it's not really a big problem. But I feel like if your parents are cool with you being a living snowman, they should probably be cool with you liking the same genitals as the ones you have.
It would be one thing if he came from a country that wasn't as progressive or forward-thinking as America in 2018.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's parts, but I feel like the snowman thing would kind of trump all that. So,
right. Like,
emphasis on the word Trump. Just kidding. Calm down.
Which is why I consider this whole change that Bendis brought to him fake news. That's right, I said it.
Oh my god. All right. I have it on good authority from a lot of great people that Iceman is the greatest comic of this generation. A lot of great people on all sides agreeing. He built a snow wall. It was great.
He's the coldest, the iciest, most Italian gay that we have on the X-Men, and I like him a lot. What?
Anything else on the slate there for you?
What else did I read? I would talk about this other comic, but that depends on whether or not you want to go international.
Give it a shot.
Elric.
Never heard of it.
Okay.
Unless you're talking about Full Metal Alchemist.
That's what most people would immediately think. And I understand. Full Metal Alchemist was pretty popular. But this is a different Elric. This is Elric of Melniboné.
Okay.
Imagine for a moment, as a writer during the 60s, your not producer, the person who gives you an assignment tells you, hey, we just saw this thing called Conan the Barbarian. He's doing pretty well. Why don't you make something like that? And then, as a writer, you say, yeah, sure, why not? But in secret, you design the anti-Conan. Instead of being stereotypically strong and big and all like roided, muscled out, he's
Mr. Glass?
He is not Mr. Glass, but he's kind of sickly. He relies on his magics and his herbalism to keep him alive because of his thin blood. He is...
Maybe you should stop smoking so much. Jesus Christ, dude. It's not that hard to figure out. Smoking all that herb.
different kind of herbalism. Different kind of herbalism.
Sorry. I mean, I would think I had magical powers too, but you know.
Oh my God. This man has been, like from the beginning of his publication, a wandering albino spell sword, killing monsters and making money so that he can pay for the ingredients that he needs to make the potions that keep him from dying, like after like not taking them for like one day.
Sounds kind of like Zelda 2 for the that was SNES, right?
I think that was NES.
I can't remember.
Where it was
which
like a
one it was.
side scroller. Yeah. Oh yeah,
that's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that, but do all of that under the guise of this character being deposed emperor who really has no qualms about doing whatever benefits him over anyone else.
Nice. Is that pretty good?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh my God. Almost every page looks like it should be like a hard, like heavy black metal album cover.
Nice.
It is. Oh my God, it's so good.
I am 1 month away from Metallica, by the way.
1 month?
Fucking stoked. If my car can get me to Cleveland, I'll be all right.
Oh boy.
It's a matter of mechanical security there. Hopefully we'll make it.
Let's hope it holds up.
Anything else you've been reading?
That has been it for me. How about you?
Well, I've been catching up on a few of the DC properties, dipping my toes in what Image has because I love Image. And
Image is great.
Picked up a Marvel book this week. I haven't read it just yet, but I'll get into that. First up, the DC stuff. I continued Heroes in Crisis. I don't know why I'm continuing Heroes in Crisis, but I am. I continue to pick up this book. I got number 4. Again, written by Tom King and drawn by Clayman. Tom King, yeah, he's so 50-50 for me at this point. I feel like this past year he's been kind of weakening and with his products, and I was really looking forward to this book. I thought it was going to focus more on the kind of PTSD aspect that the heroes experience.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's become this kind of goofy murder mystery featuring Booster Gold and Harley Quinn. And it's just not what I want. It's just, maybe it's just me not managing my expectations well, but it's just not. I thought when it was announced to be one of these premier blacklist, Black Label, whatever they're calling it, books from their higher end adult focused books.
Oh, you mean like the ones with Bat Dick?
Oh yeah, that Batman Damned also included in that group.
Ooh.
But I just expected a lot more from this book, and I'm sticking with it just because I'm hoping that there'll be something there for me to grab onto.
Yeah.
But every issue, even when they show the characters I'm most interested in, it's just weak. It's incoherent. It's not very easy to follow. Maybe it'll be an easier read as a volume. That they have these little panels, a few characters in every book where they have a portion of their interview from, their kind of sensing venting session with the, psychiatrist, whoever it is.
Shrinkbot.
Yeah. And they've literally just started leaving at the beginning of it, so he doesn't have to write anything. So it's just like,
my God.
the page is just like 6 or 9 panels of empty chair. And I'm like, well, that was easy to draw, I'm sure, I didn't want to know anything deeper about this character.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So even the stuff it should be good at, it's not good at. And it's very disappointing. The art is fine. It's, Clayman's doing a fine job illustrating everything, but it's just, it's not a great book, and it's falling way short of my expectations, especially for Tom King, who I have a lot of respect for. So I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. We'll see if it fleshes itself out as it goes along, but as we saw from Mr. Miracle, that may not be the case. The next book I picked up was the new version of Martian Manhunter. Number 1, this one done by Steve Orlando and Riley Rosmo. It's interesting. I don't know if that means good, but it is interesting. It's definitely taking a different direction with Martian Manhunter, both artistically and as far as the storyline for Martian Manhunter goes. Now, again, this might be me not managing my expectations very well and not giving it a fair shot, but I am a big fan of Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter, one of the original founding members of the Justice League before Batman and before Superman, mind you, and I think he's an awesome character that rarely gets the respect or the kind of writing input that he deserves. I think most people just make his storylines out to be generic alien, blah, blah, blah. And,
from
space.
space.
Boring guy who's alone. Ooh, and that's when he's like the least interesting to me.
Right. When he's like the umpteenth hero in DC Comics who lost his family tragically.
Yeah, and I thought the Bruce Timm based Justice League cartoon did a really great job with Martian Manhunter, especially when they had episodes dedicated just to him. Like, I remember there was this one episode, I think it was like a Christmas episode or something.
Yeah.
And I don't think the whole episode was focused on him, but like each group, and the Justice League had their own little thing, like Hawk Girl and John Stewart, Green Lantern, went off to a different planet to party for Christmas and stuff like that. And then
because they can. And
because John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, was going to be alone and was just going to sit in the watchtower and mope,
Not that Christmas would mean anything to him.
Yeah, Clark Kent did what I would expect Clark Kent to do and invited this weird alien man to come home for dinner for Christmas. And Martian Manhunter gets to experience Christmas with the family. And, he kind of experiences kind of like a middle America, very nice, enjoyable, cute, Christmas Eve with the family. And then he kind of sings like a song of his people because he feels like he's not alone, at least a little bit on that day. Whereas, basically this whole race has been killed.
Yeah. Wiped out.
And it was a really nice, like, heartwarming episode and added a lot of depth to his character and, made Superman out to be who Superman should be,
Yes. A good person.
And it just fleshed him out in that, 15 minutes that he got more than any Martian Manhunter comic in the past, 5 years has done. And I mean, there's been long stretches where Martian Manhunter wasn't even like a thought in the DC universe. There weren't any books. He wasn't on any teams. He was just not there.
Yeah.
And we just forgot he was around.
It's like a founding member, just nowhere to be found.
And I think it's just such a waste and really disappointing. So I'm glad to see that there's a book out for him. In this one, I'm not sure I like the direction. They have John Jones serving as kind of an undercover, investigator, detective, working on murder cases, which, fine. Okay. I guess that's how he wants to spend his time. Every time we have a superhero that we don't really have a good story for, let's just make him a cop.
He's a manhunter.
Looking at you, Nightwing.
He has to hunt some mans.
Yeah. And
also, wow, Nightwing.
Yeah, remember when he was a cop?
I'm
Cop by day, superhero by night. Apparently never slept. I don't know.
Right. Thank you, Titans, for reminding us of that part of his life.
But I can't tell if it's trying to be a comedy or if it's trying to be a serious story. And it's not, you can have a little comedy in a serious story and you can have a little seriousness to a comedy. But I feel like this is so like split down the middle that it's hard to follow. Like artistically, it feels like it should be a comedy.
Right.
It's just that kind of way out there,
kind of
organic style. I mean, there's a scene in it, spoiler alert, that's not really a spoiler, but it'll surprise you when you open the page. There's a sex scene in the book where he's remembering having Martian sex with his wife, and they literally just like turn into goop and become one giant mass of goo.
What?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope, that seriously happens in this book.
Oh my god.
Again, I gave you a spoiler warning, but you get to see some green goop sex.
Oh god.
And it's supposed to be a serious moment, I think, but it's so ridiculous that it's hard to bite in. I guess the story they're going for is Martian Manhunter was a bounty hunter amongst his people and was kind of a dick about it. And now he's trying to be a good cop as a human on Earth. And I just think it's so silly and ridiculous. It could only work as a comedy, but I feel like it's not being written as a comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm very concerned that this is going to just go right in the toilet. And Martian Manhunter will disappear from our wonderful books for another year or two. Once again, yeah. I mean, he's in a Justice League book, I believe. I don't remember which one, but there's so many now. But
yeah,
I'll read the next one, but I'm really concerned about this. I don't think it's gonna work out particularly well.
Yeah, just based on that, I kind of want to give it a chance, just to see exactly like what they're doing with like the being a cop aspect of this character. But I also kind of don't want to touch it because you just described to me something that, even though you've described it to me, I'm still going to be shocked and freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
And still wonder why.
I mean, they literally send the little baby goo, their child, out of the room so they can do it. It's very strange. I don't if it's supposed to be a comedy, I'm all about it. But I can't tell because it's having too many serious moments where I feel like I'm supposed to be taking it seriously, but I just can't.
Yeah.
So
I was trying to go the rest of my life without being reminded of what the fuck is
well, that's
that
a visual
show?
I'll never unsee. So enjoy that if you will.
Yeah, the fucking Steven Universe. That's the one.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The next DC book I picked up was Jeff Johns' latest escapade into the Shazam world with Shazam #1. Clearly, they're getting it ready to kind of promote the movie.
Priming it.
Coming up in April. This one drawn by Dale Eaglesham. Eaglesham?
Eaglesham?
I tried. But Dale and Jeff are going at it. Now, Jeff is responsible for probably my favorite version of Shazam, probably my favorite version of Aquaman, probably one of my favorite versions of The Flash. Jeff Johns, good writer.
When he's not trying to kill Nightwing.
And when he's not trying to kill Nightwing, and when he's not trying to make horrible movies. But generally, I like what he does, even when I don't necessarily like the books he's writing, it's still decent. Like, it's like the current Marvel universe. Like, even when they're bad, they're not that bad, you know?
Right.
It's just fine. And that's how I feel about portions of this book at the moment. It's going in a very kind of crazy, zany direction.
Huh.
It's definitely not the New 52 Billy Batson that we remember. From Jeff Johns' previous run with it. It's definitely the more kind of campy, hokey, over-the-top, friendly Billy Batson who's perfect, which I don't like. I don't like the kid that's so perfect and innocent and willing to defend what's right and blah, 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 that he, he isn't just a kid. He's like...
Right. That's... here's the thing that kind of chaps my ass about that. They're already promoting a movie where everyone has seen footage of this kid playing Billy Batson beat the fuck out of a bully with, like, one of his, adopted brothers' crutch.
Yeah.
It's like...
And
how?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
There are things in it that I really enjoyed. Don't get me wrong. Like, I really got a kick out of a few things and a few, kind of. They even have like kind of a tongue-in-cheek Captain Marvel shout out where he's trying to figure out what the hell to call himself because he doesn't want to deactivate himself on accident. It was like, how about Captain Marvel? And before it ends, and they cut him off. For those unaware, Captain Marvel was originally Shazam.
Yep, that was originally his name.
Marvel basically stole that name for one of their characters, who was an alien thing, Kree thing.
Yeah,
ish.
Kree space cop.
Yeah, and then instead of fighting over it, DC just kind of said, okay, fine, we'll call him Shazam, because that's what he yells, and now we have Shazam, who used to be Captain Marvel.
Is like cutting down on both the confusion and the unintended, basically advertising of a rival company.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's weird kind of comics history there, but it was kind of fun seeing stuff like that in the book. Now, my one gripe with this book is that they have the Shazam family in it, and it immediately, like, I just...
Wait, how do you mean?
All the other foster kids have the Shazam powers already. From the get-go.
Why?
Yeah. And it's so new to them, all of them, that they literally don't know what to call themselves, and they're making up names throughout the entire book and fighting over who should be the leader and blah, 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 even though Billy Batson clearly was the one who got the powers. I get what it's setting up to be, and I think it's going to be a good book overall. I'm not a fan of the Shazam family, specifically a Shazam family that just shows up. They just get powers because they're in his proximity, you know?
Oh, we're close to him. That means we get magic.
Yeah.
What about other people who step within fucking 10 feet of this kid?
And you gotta think, it's weird that we have, like, I mean, there's a lot of them. Like, total, there's 6 or 7 of them, including Billy. That's like 6 or 7 Supermans that are just have the maturity of, 8 to 13-year-old kids and are all just gallivanting throughout the city, fucking shit up. And I don't know if that's a great premise to write from, especially when it's clearly unchecked in any way. And it's half what I want from Shazam, but I feel like the family aspect's going to cause problems. I feel like it would be cool if they were along for the ride for sure, because like they add depth to Billy's character. But I don't know about just having them be as powerful as Shazam himself from the get-go to the point where they're fighting over who should be the leader.
Somewhere near the Rock of Eternity, a wizard is sitting on his ass thinking, I think I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah, that wizard's dead. He's not around.
He's dead?
Yeah, nothing.
Just straight up?
They're literally like going through the Rock of Eternity, just figuring stuff out.
Oh, no.
Because he died giving Billy his powers, and that's how we start the book.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and then, yeah. I mean, it's building to some specific things that you can kind of read into if you're familiar with Shazam at all. But I'm not a fan of the whole Shazam family dynamic right now. We'll see how it turns out. Jeff Johns is very capable.
Hopefully they course correct some of that.
Yeah, and the art's very good. It's very chaotic, as you would expect a house of 8 foster kids, or however many foster kids would be.
8 Supermans.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with it, but I don't know if I like the direction it's going. Much like Martian Manhunter, but just it's different. It's definitely different. They're definitely trying something new with both those books. We'll see what happens. The next book I read was an Image book called Self-Made. This one made by Matt Groom and Marco Costa. And this one it got me interested into the what's going to be the storyline, but it's a tough read for the first 3/4 of the book.
Oh.
Especially if you don't know what's supposed to be happening.
Oh.
Like, I like to go into books without reading any of the descriptions or anything, because I don't want anything spoiled for me.
Yeah.
Prior to jumping into it. And I don't know if the description would have lightened this up a little bit, but there's a twist at the end that you're like, okay, so that's why none of this stuff made sense. Okay, now I'm interested. But for almost the entire book, I was like almost ready to drop it, because I was like, what is going on here? None of this is explained. None of this makes sense. How are they getting to this point already? That was really quick, like stuff that clearly doesn't make sense until you get to the end, and then you're like, okay, what's going on there?
Yeah.
But I don't want to say too much, because there's
Spoilers?
It would be spoilerish, yeah. It would kind of ruin the start of the book. But I would say read the description of it first to kind of give yourself...
It's like a base idea of what's going on.
Because it's really not clear what the hell you're supposed to be paying attention to from the beginning. And it's a little chaotic. And then at the end, you kind of put everything together. So definitely interested. Image always releases great stuff, risky stuff, but always pretty consistently good. And then that last book I picked up, Wolverine the Long Night. This is based on a Stitcher exclusive podcast. We're on Stitcher too, so be sure to check us out on Stitcher.
Yeah.
Marvel did kind of one of the first podcast stories featuring a comic book character with Wolverine the Long Night. And basically it surrounds this kind of murder mystery where overnight a man was murdered, and evidence seems to point at a few people, including a mysterious man named Logan, who seemed to have lost his memory. It's the most Wolverine thing ever. dead bodies, and memory loss.
Sounds like Wolverine.
Yeah. But the podcast follows the detectives basically throughout the whole thing. I've listened to a lot of it, not all of it. I had trouble with the audio format. I mean, when I listen to podcasts and stuff like that or music, it's something that I don't have to pay deep attention to. It's just something to kind of keep me mildly entertained while I do other things. With a story podcast, I can't listen to books on tape for the same reason. If I'm listening to something, I'm not going to have the attention I need to dedicate to it. And that's I picked up the book because I thought maybe I'll be able to enjoy it a little more if I have the book in my hand and I'm actually focused in on what I'm supposed to be reading. So I'll be jumping into that probably tomorrow or maybe tonight. We'll see how I'm feeling. But yeah, looking forward to it. One of the few Marvel books I pick up because I am a DC fanboy. But
Wolverine.
I love me some Wolverine. And I think that pretty much wraps up everything I read lately. So with that, let's get into the news.
Ooh.
There will be no Did the Cover Match the Drapes segment this week because we didn't read any of the covers we liked from the previous episode. And to be fair, that was like 3 weeks ago. So
yeah,
sorry about that. But you got a review in the middle, so that's good.
True. Yeah.
Holidays kind of held us up, though. All right, first up on the news, the CW's Elseworld episode, Batwoman character starring Ruby Rose has been ordered a pilot episode. The episode is due to be directed by David Nutter, who is famous for the pilot episode of The Flash, and written by Caroline Dries, who is known for working on Melrose Place, Vampire Diaries, and Smallville.
About that.
Somebody save me.
Can I just say that maybe we need to slow it down a little bit with the CWDC shows that we have going on?
How dare you?
How dare you, sir? We already have Arrow, which is on season 7.
Which,
Flash, it's on season 5, which
I haven't. I'm kind of behind, but I like the Flash a lot.
Yeah,
I'm like 2 seasons behind.
Okay, yeah, we'll see how you like it. Legends of Tomorrow.
Had Constantine.
Yeah, they have him currently.
Hashtag save Constantine.
Hashtag give Constantine his own show instead of saddling him with a team of people he doesn't need.
Matt Ryan's pretty sweet, though.
He's great. He is Constantine. He just is.
Continue.
Yeah, continuing my list of shows that aren't Constantine, we have Supergirl, which...
acquired from CBS.
Yeah,
not originally.
Acquired from CBS, but also a part of the Berlantiverse, since he was the one producing all of this.
Yeah. Haven't watched it. I watched some of the CBS version of it. It was, it wasn't to my taste, but it was fine.
We already have 4 shows.
Well, you're missing one. Well, maybe 2. I don't know if the other one's still on. Definitely 1.
What's the one?
Black Lightning.
Oh!
Sir.
That's right.
Which
Black Lightning
has good reviews, but I haven't watched it yet, so maybe it's good, maybe it's not. They gave Arrow great reviews, and I think it sucked pretty much the entire time through. So that's just me, though.
Look, man, when they tried to add a whole bunch of Batman elements to a character that is a whole lot cheaper to produce.
I mean, he doesn't even change his voice most of the time. He just smears some, like, soot on his eyes and wears a hood occasionally.
Oh, that's season 1.
Yeah, it's real dumb.
Season 2 literally every season, he has like a little upgrade to his costume up until it's a complete fucking redesign.
Okay. Thanks, Flash.
Yep, that happened. Yeah, it's They have enough shows to where I fucking forgot one.
And then I don't know if this is still around, but iZombie was pretty popular too. That's a DC show.
I think iZombie either finished its last season or is currently on its last season.
Yeah, I thought I heard we talked about the news at some point that it was ending, but I know that was a pretty popular show on there for a while there.
Yeah, I didn't catch on to it until like a year ago, and oh my god, it is so much fun.
But yeah, point taken. A lot of DC shows.
There's a lot.
The CW should basically just change its name to the angsty CW teen show.
It should actually be called DC Universe for free.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that stuff available on DC Universe? Probably not, right?
Probably not.
Yeah.
No, it's like, why would you?
I mean, it is owned by WB, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
CW is just what WB used to be.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yep.
To each their own. We'll see how it works out. I know a lot of people are big on Ruby Rose as an actress. Cool.
I would be big on her if she could act.
Based on the writer, I would expect a lot of saucy scenes where we have some hot lesbian action between Batwoman and her girlfriend, and angst and more hotness and angst.
If they're going to do that, they need to lean heavily into Miss Kane's military background. Heavily.
We'll see. Next up on the news, Marvel has teamed up with the Hearthstone developers in their new studio Second Dinner for an unknown game project. It could potentially be a major project, as they have reportedly received $30 million worth of funding from a Chinese investment firm. So, based on their background, I would assume it's some kind of big digital card game. We are aware that there used to be a cool kind of Marvel card game. While the game wasn't all that great, the cards themselves were pretty cool, I thought.
They had some sweet artwork on them.
So, look forward to that. Hearthstone's a pretty great game. It's very addictive. Played it for a little while. Couldn't bring myself to pay for it, which is probably a problem for their investors.
Yeah.
And I stopped playing it. So there you have it.
Yeah, I don't do mobile games, so either you make one for consoles that isn't terribly riddled with microtransactions, or count me out.
Yeah, if they're investing $30 million, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be microtransactions. This is not a large studio. Yeah. So, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's a great product.
Hopefully.
Generally speaking, with a recent exception being the Sony Spider-Man game. I think Marvel has kind of struggled to put out good games for a lot of its products that aren't directly associated with a much more popular franchise like Capcom.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens there. Good luck to the studio and good luck to Marvel. Next up, the second and likely final season of the Netflix Punisher show has been given a premiere date. It will premiere around the corner here on January 18th of 2019.
Why? I don't.
Why what? Don't you like the show?
I do like the show.
Mm-hmm.
It kills me that we have gotten to the point in their lifespan at Netflix to where all of these great shows are just, they're expected to be dead as a result of decisions made that ended up canceling Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, I'm assuming Punisher, and then ultimately Jessica Jones.
Yep.
This is
because most likely Disney is creating its own streaming app that will be a direct competitor to Netflix, as well as DC Universe, as well as the CBS streaming app, as well as the HBO app.
Yes.
As well as Hulu.
Because
and Amazon Prime.
That's what
Go
we
fuck
need.
Yourselves. All of you.
That's what we need. 1,000 different apps, all of which need to have a paid subscription vying for our fucking attention. This is the point that we've gotten to.
Yeah. See, this is what's going to kill the business model. The business model is super promising, looks really great, and there's something to be said about having some competition to keep prices down and be able to compete. But that being said, if you have to go to each of these individual sources and give them each $10 a piece to enjoy their content, you're kind of screwing the market up, because now the whole appeal of Netflix was being able to get all of these different movies from all of these different companies together into one service that you could just enjoy, on a subscription basis.
Yeah.
For
one charge a month.
Yeah, and you might not have every single little thing, but you got plenty to keep you entertained for a month, And now Netflix is going to have to scramble to kind of create its own content and kind of depend on companies like Universal to give them enough good titles. And it kind of screws those companies as far as bargaining, because now there's less to pull from. Disney is one of the biggest owners and producers of stream content there is, and Hulu and Crackle and Netflix and Amazon Prime are going to all be competing for the rights to freely stream these things on their services, with a shrinking pool of companies to pull from. And I suspect WB's
shrinking.
I suspect WB is going to be following suit very quickly, because they're going to realize that DC stuff isn't enough to sustain one of those services, so they'll have to start throwing all of the WB stuff at it. And it's going to be rough for the market for a little while. I don't know if it'll be able to correct itself either, because companies like Disney, companies like WB are so big and control so much of the market. You're really gonna struggle to compete. Basically all you'll have to pull from is, Paramount and Universal. I think those are the only two studios I can think of that aren't owned by WB or Disney, and they might be. I don't know. Maybe they've been bought, because Disney now owns all of Fox properties, pretty much all of the Fox properties.
Yep.
There's not a whole lot left. Sony, but Marvel's probably going to own Spider-Man soon too.
Yeah.
So,
the landscape is about to change as far as all of these apps and the rise of all of this content that has been largely superhero focused, thanks to this new, not really new, it was damn near a decade renaissance of superhero-based entertainment. And all of our wallets are going to pay for it.
Yeah. So we've cut the cord. We've cut away from cable. Really the only thing keeping cable alive is sports.
Yeah.
And now streaming's going to become the new villain. As a collective, not because of any individual app, but because the entire market is just riddled with these $10 to $15 app services that you have to pay for in order to stay up to date. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a transition for sure, and I don't think TV's going to exist as we know it. For 10 years from now, I think it's going to be a completely different market, a completely different experience. And I'm kind of glad I was born when I was, because I got to experience kind of the best of both worlds. So
yeah,
both the pre-internet streaming days and into, kind of the prime time of this new streaming renaissance. So
yeah, it's going to be once Disney finally unveils their streaming service, that's when I think everyone's really going to see how well things like this are going to do.
Yeah. So look forward to that, if you will, or fear it, as I do. Next on the news, Aquaman is seeing commercial success. It now has a box office gross of $822 million worldwide and has surpassed Wonder Woman's worldwide gross of $821 million to take fourth place in the DC movies, behind Dark Knight Rises, which grossed $1.084 billion, The Dark Knight, which grossed $1.04 billion, and Batman v Superman, which grossed $873 million. Check out our Aquaman review for more details.
Yep.
We definitely had our criticisms of the movie. Significant ones, I think.
Yep.
There was a lot to like from the movie. I think the world is cool. I think Jason Momoa is great, even if he is a little my man-ish. Which he did tone down for this movie.
I spent most of this movie saying they're trying really hard, man.
They
like,
tried real
tell.
hard for 2.5 hours.
2.5. That's a whole lot of trying, a whole lot of hard.
So we won't get too into it. You can always go back to our Aquaman review. We give you kind of our spoiler-free take at the beginning, and then we give you a warning and jump into spoilers. But don't see it in theaters, at least. Don't spend your hard-earned money on it. Don't support this movie any more than it already has, please.
It has plenty of money.
There are good qualities to it. It's not the worst movie ever. It's definitely not the worst movie of the DC universe.
Definitely not.
Not the best, but certainly not the worst. I mean, you might disagree.
Yeah, I disagree.
I think Wonder Woman is clearly a better movie overall. But
there was never another movie made like that ever again.
It was definitely a shorter movie.
It was shorter.
Okay. I'm just gonna challenge you on this every time you bring it up.
Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Captain America, and apparently so did Patty Jenkins.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
And Aries.
It's fine.
Talk about a mustache.
Look at Chris Pine. Chris Pine's great.
That's what they were trying to get us to do that whole fucking time.
And it worked.
Look at Chris Pine.
Yep.
You see that? Look at Chris Pine.
Yep. And it worked.
You see him flying up into the air to explode it. Look at Chris Pine.
And I will say it's kind of a problem when your whole support cast is way more interesting than you are.
Ooh.
From her aunt to her mother to all the kind of ragtag group in her unit there. Chris Pine especially. Like even like the kind of goofy characters in London, they were all way more interesting than she was. I have to say. Sorry, gal. You were just kind of there. You were the vessel that we all floated on to enjoy all the other characters.
I'm going to say it. Every other Amazonian there looked more like Wonder Woman than she did.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
When the princess from Princess Bride.
Oh, the princess from Princess Bride. Yeah, Robin Wright.
When she's looking 100 times more badass than you in a movie, you probably need to work on something there.
Yep.
Yeah. And she was way cooler and way more interesting.
I don't know how much she trained, like, fresh off the set of House of Cards, but man.
She's fucking awesome. She's fucking great. Robin Wright was great.
Yeah, she fucking brought it.
But yeah, enough about that.
Yeah, enough about that.
You can check out both those reviews on our YouTube channel, on our Stitcher page, on iTunes. Shameless plug. You're welcome.
Yep. That's right. You know you want it.
But yeah, I hate China. Because China is the one basically buying all these tickets.
Yep.
I think domestically it's made like $200 million, which is fine, but they spent like probably 300 million when you account for like the marketing budget. We know pretty much for sure that they spent 200 million just on producing the movie without marketing budget. So you can expect almost double that for the marketing budget,
Okay.
So
To be fair,
domestically, it did not make its money back or even close. Internationally, mostly because of China, it has made a lot of money.
there's another movie that Marvel released that kind of did the same thing. And it's called Venom.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah. So the reason this hurts me is because it's perpetuating this universe that I hate. I don't like the DCEU right now.
It keeps happening.
It sucks. It's so bad that they're already making movies that aren't in it. For example, the Joker movie.
Yep.
Why do we keep perpetuating this movie universe? It's awful. And there's, even in the good movies, good being a relative term,
Elseworlds.
they're bad. They're real bad. They are nowhere near the kind of Nolan movie. Batman Begins did not make nearly as much as these movies do. And it was much cheaper to make, and it was a much better film. A much better film.
Even the fucking CW has the Elseworlds idea. Just like, you don't have to stay in this universe, right?
Yeah. So I don't know why they keep pushing it so hard, and they're so dedicated to the Snyderverse. But I wish they would just let it die. It's had a fine run. Just let it go. You have the money, clearly. You spent $200 million on CGI effects for this movie.
I would be fine with a hand-wavy retcon. I really would.
So here's hoping that Joker's really good, so we can finally get out of this world.
Please.
Because I don't need a Suicide Squad 2. I don't need a Batgirl and the Birds of Prey in this universe. I really don't need the Batman. I don't need any of these characters returning. I really don't. Jason Momoa plays the role fine. Gal Gadot plays the role fine. Henry Cavill, when he's not having his goofy CGI mustache removed, is fine.
Thank you, Mission Impossible.
Not so sure about Fat Bat. But I mean, they're fine. But that's the problem. They're just fine. And none of them are fleshed out properly. Each movie has like 6 storylines shoved into one. And I don't feel like sitting in the movie theater for 3 hours pulling my hair out because the things I love are being kind of just dragged through the mud in the name of fan service, which I don't agree with. But I'll leave it at that. I've ranted enough about this current DCEU. If you saw the movie and you liked it, more power to you. I know a lot of people are, but it's a bad movie. It's poorly filmed. The acting's bad. I can understand why it's doing better overseas because it's harder to tell when acting is bad when it's in another language,
Yeah.
If I watch, a Japanese movie, I'm going to have no idea their acting's that bad because I'm just going to assume that's culturally how they speak
Right.
and how they, send off their lines. And this movie, Jason Momoa, Willem Dafoe aside, there is some really bad acting, especially from the guy that plays Black Manta. That guy was awful. That guy was real cringe. Black Manta did not need to be in this movie at all.
No.
That alone would have cut about an hour out of this movie that just didn't need to be in there.
It really didn't.
But yeah,
Black Manta should have been a fucking teaser trailer at the end.
The movie's fine. It's just fine.
It was too much.
You can go in, turn your brain off, kind of forget that Thor Ragnarok exists, and you can have an enjoyable time. Again, watch our review.
Yes.
I don't need to rant anymore about this movie.
Yep.
And I apologize for ranting as much as I have. So
it's easy to rant, though.
We gotta go. Next up on the news, we have some promotions in the comic book world for the new year. Jordan D. White has been promoted to senior editor at Marvel Comics. He's worked on several X-Men projects and The Return of Wolverine and helped edit a lot of that stuff. On the Oni Press side, Sarah Gatos has been promoted to the editor-in-chief for Oni Press. She has worked as an editor for IDW for the past few years and has worked at DC previous to that from 2006 to 2013. So congratulations to those individuals. We hope to see great work from you and actual editing. Editing is always a good thing when done properly.
Editing is a really good thing.
We realize that being a head editor or senior editor or editor-in-chief nowadays does not mean what it should mean, but
what it used to mean.
Now it just means I manage the people writing on the staff and tell them, hey, do this project, and then I leave them alone.
Yeah.
And hope that they spell everything right, and hope that they draw everything on time, and hope that they have a coherent storyline to produce before they start the project.
What does editing mean again?
Yeah. But in all seriousness, all cynicism aside, congratulations to those two, and we hope to see good things from you.
I just have one question. Return of Wolverine, that's a current comic?
Yeah, when Wolverine was revived because he was killed in the death of Wolverine.
But he's back.
He's back.
And his claws are glowing.
I was not aware of this. Should I be aware of this?
You should be aware of this.
I don't want to be aware of this.
Too bad. I'm making you aware of this.
I'm reading Shatterstar. And now for the final part of the news, unfortunately. It appears every once in a while. It has appeared yet again. It's time for Delayed Corner.
Oh, no.
This week, most of our delays come from Marvel. In fact, all of our delays come from Marvel, which is unusual because usually the delays come from DC. This week, we got delay news for Captain America number 7 and number 8. Each of those issues has been delayed by 2 weeks. And the Return of Wolverine number 5, which we just spoke about, has been delayed 3 weeks. So if you were looking forward to those comics on time, unfortunately, you'll have to wait a little extra to get those books. We always rant about how much we hate delays, how these books should be created well ahead of time.
They should.
Instead of doing the month-to-month thing, which is just clearly not working. And it ruins interest in a book. People forget it exists and they drop the book, not because they don't like it, but because they can't find it. And it hasn't appeared on shelves for 2 months and they've forgotten it even exists. And by the time it comes out again, they've forgotten what happened previously and don't feel like going back and reading it all over again. So, comic book companies, please quit shooting yourself in the foot. There's a very clear and easy business model that you can follow. Please do it.
Yes, we've outlined it several times. Construct your story first.
It'd be very nice. And not just like a slim blueprint. I mean, fucking write it. Have it written and ready to go.
Write that whole goddamn thing. And then, as a writer, if you're freelance, just sell portions of it.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, I think it should be like a book writing thing where you get your initial payment to create it. You create it. Once it's all created and cut into pieces, that's when you get your final payout plus a percentage. I think that's a very fair system and would be great for everybody involved.
It would.
And it would incentivize these creators to actually produce everything on time, because if they don't make their deadline, they don't get the rest of their pay. So
yeah,
that's just my way of seeing it. I understand if there's a family thing that gets in the way or whatever, but you wouldn't have to worry about that if it was already created.
Right. You just have to basically fill it all out.
Yeah. So I'll just leave that at that and stop ranting, because I really love to rant on this show.
It's very easy to rant.
And if you've listened to the show at all during our first season, you'll know that I've already touched base on a lot of these things that I'm talking about.
Yep.
And that, my friends, is the news.
10, 9, 8, 7.
For the love of God.
6, 5, 4, 3.
Oh my God.
2, 1. Happy New Year!
Thank you. Okay.
Happy New Year! Oh my God! It's a new year! It's a new year! It's been exactly 1 episode since I've last asked you what books are we hitting up this week.
Well, Emery, I thought you'd never ask. First up, from Dynamite Entertainment, we have boobs. And that's basically it. Just boobs and boob variants and boobs.
By boobs, we mean Barbarella?
Barbarella,
And
Deja Thoris,
Thoris.
number 1. Let me
And,
scroll through all these boob variants to tell you what's next.
Thousands of variants.
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, number 4.
Who's basically a cleavage witch.
Hack and Slash versus Chaos, number 2. Red Sonja, number 25.
Basically a cleavage knight.
Turok, number 1. So at least we get some dong in there.
Yep. His
Equal opportunity nudity.
Yep, he's a nude dude.
We have Vampirella, Cross Deja Thoris, number 4.
Just so that we can get a photograph of butt.
If you want some hot vampire bondage action, apparently. And that's it from Dynamite. So thanks, Dynamite.
Thanks, Dynamite.
That was great. Next up from Marvel Comics, we have Avengers number 12. We have Avengers Endgame Prelude number 2. We have Captain Marvel number 1. It's like they got a movie coming or something.
All right.
How dare you? We have Domino number 10. How else is Rogue gonna become cool?
That actually looks like Domino. And the person that we've been talking about. Oh no, it's not the person we've been talking about. It's the person related to the person we've been talking about. It's Longshot. Longshot and Domino, those are two lucky motherfuckers. Okay. I see why he's on this comic now.
Nailed it. Next up, we have Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 1. We have Iceman number 5.
No.
How dare you? As one of the original X-Men, sir. You will hold your tongue.
Stop.
We have Miles Morales, Spider-Man number 2.
All right.
We have Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider number 4. They're really just trying to get everything they can out of Spider-Gwen there.
Yes. Even more than what they got out of Into the Spider-Verse. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
We have Star Wars number 59.
For you fucking nerds.
Word. We have Star Wars Age of Republic Jango Fett number 1.
Shorten the fucking title.
For the biggest of you fucking nerds.
God damn it.
Jeez. We got the Black Order number 3. We have The Man Without Fear number 2.
Yeah.
Daredevil. Yeah. Need some Rob Zombie in here. Remember that song?
Oh, yeah, I do.
We have The Punisher number 6. We have The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, your favorite, number 40.
No.
We have Thor number 9.
Okay. I might check that out.
We have Uncanny X-Men number 9. We have Web of Venom, Venom Unleashed, number 1. Yo, dog, I heard you like Venom.
So I put Venom on a dog so you could have a dog with Venom on it.
I titled it Web of Venom, Venom.
Web of Venom, Venom Unleashed,
Dog.
starring Venom.
Next up, we have X-23, number 8. And that wraps up Marvel. From Image Comics, we love you, Image. We have Auntie Agatha's Home for Wayward Rabbits, number 3. What?
Ooh.
But okay. It's Image, so I'll give it a shot.
Yep.
We have Birthright, number 35. We have Bitter Root, number 3. We have Blackbird, number 4, with a very nice Santa Takeda variant cover.
Santa Takeda.
I love myself some Santa Takeda art.
Oh, yeah.
We have Bully Wars, number 5. We have Cemetery Beach, number 5. We have Criminal, number 1.
Interesting.
We have Curse Words, number 19. We have Die, number 2. We have Gunning for Hits, number 1. This is a weird book.
Yeah.
I read a little bit of the description. Apparently, it's written by one of David Bowie's producers.
Oh, I bet he's
And
got some stories.
The book comes with a Spotify playlist at the end that you can listen to after reading the book. So it's a very strange concept there, but it's Image, so I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I like David Bowie, so
Yeah.
the main character seems to look like David Bowie. So
It kind of does.
next up we have Hit Girl number 12, good book. We have Kick Ass number 11, not a good book.
Bad book.
We have Murder Falcon number 4.
Murder Falcon.
Falcon Punch.
Arr.
Murder. We have Oblivion Song number 11. It's something.
Yeah.
We have Outer Darkness number 3. We have Prodigy number 2. We have Rose number 16. We have Self-Made number 2, so that book I was just reading there. Excited to see how it gets followed up from that first issue. We have Sleepless number 11. Interesting concept. Enjoyed the book when I was reading it earlier, but need to catch up. We have The Freeze number 2 with a very gruesome cover. And we have The Last Siege number 8. From DC Comics, we have Adventures of Super Sons number 6. We have Batman number 62. We have Batman King of Fear. Kings, plural, of Fear, number 6. We have Deathstroke, Arkham, number 39. We have Green Arrow, number 48. We have Green Lantern, number 3. We have Harley Quinn, number 57. Let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. We have Justice League, number 15. We have Martian Manhunter, number 2, another book I talked about. We have Nightwing, number 56.
The Return of Rick Grayson.
What? Seriously? Come on, guys. Just let me write Nightwing. You guys don't know what you're doing, clearly.
Give him one fucking issue, guys. Just one.
Let me write Martian Manhunter, too, while you're at it.
Yeah.
Although, this one could potentially be great. Needs to figure out its identity. Much like Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. It sounds poignant.
We have Suicide Squad, The Black Files, number 3. We have The Curse of Brimstone, number 10, which I really need to catch up on. We have The Unexpected, number 8. We have United States versus Murder, Inc., number 5. We have Young Justice, number 1, which looks kind of cool. We'll see. Brian Michael Bendis, so I know you get concerned when you hear that, but
I always get concerned whenever I hear that name.
Could be great.
Could
Has
be
a lot
bad.
of lot of cool variant covers this week. Foreshadowing. Nailed it. Next up, from IDW Publishing, we have Atomic Robo Dawn of the New Era, number 1. We have Bubba Hotep and the Cosmic Bloodsuckers, number 5.
Hoo-ha.
We have DuckTales.
Woohoo!
Thank you. Number 16. We have Euthanauts, number 5. We have House of Muck, number 4. Next up, we have Star Wars Adventures, Destroyer Down, number 3. And that's all from IDW. From Dark Horse Comics, we have Aliens, Dust to Dust, number 4.
Dust to dust.
We have God of War, number 3. Wow. Maybe I need to play that game finally.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah, I'm real behind. We have Joe Golem, number 5. We have LaGuardia, number 2. It's all about bad airports. We have Mystery Science Theater 3000, number 4.
Ooh. We
have Predator Hunters 2, number 4. That wasn't confusing enough. We have Quantum Age from the World of Black Hammer, number 6. We have The Division Extremis Malice, number 1. Guessing a book about the upcoming Division 2. We have William Gibson's Alien 3, number 3. Again, that couldn't be more confusing. From Boom Studios, we have Adventure Time Season 11, number 4. We have By Night, number 7. We have Go Go Power Rangers, number 16.
Wait, hold the fuck on.
With our gender-swapped Rangers there.
Wait, just a fucking minute. Zoom in on that Yellow Ranger.
I don't know.
Is he Asian?
Did they make the Yellow Ranger Asian again? I thought we were past this.
Did we really just let that happen?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a poorly drawn white dude.
Possibly. I'll have to buy that issue and find out.
Nailed it.
Yep.
And we have Wizard Beach #2. And from Vertigo, we have The Dreaming #5, the next entry into the Sandman universe that they have been building over there at Vertigo. And that is everything coming to your local comic book shops
Again, please support your local comic book shops.
and digital devices this week. Now it's time to hand out the prestigious, nay life-changing award of comic cover and variant cover of the week.
Dun, 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 dun.
First up, our cover of the week goes to Vertigo's The Dreaming #5 by
Ooh.
Jay Lee.
Jay Lee on point yet again.
Now, this comic has a wonderful aesthetic that a lot of these Sandman books have. That I don't know. It's hard to say without just alluding to the titles.
Right.
It's very fantastical. It's very kind of long and stretched out, like you would imagine a dream would be.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
very ethereal.
Yes, very, very. And, I'm not trying to draw analogies to the kind of aesthetic that Sandman is known to, but it's very trippy and kind of out there and over the top and very cool. I mean, this cover is just one that's going to stand out on the shelves. Whether you like it or not, it's going to stand out on the shelf. And it just really strikes a chord that I think is really great. And I think the cover just has a really great aesthetic, and I think Jay Lee did a great job in kind of embodying what the Sandman universe kind of encompasses. I really like the cover design. I like how they have the kind of melded DC/Vertigo logo together. I mean, just about from every angle, it's a really cool looking book. The one criticism I would have, and this is more of a DC problem, is that they put a quote from a creator on the front of the cover.
Oh, yeah.
Now, to be fair, they put it in a place that doesn't have a lot going on, so it's not really covering anything like a lot of these books tend to. But was it really necessary? I think the cover is more than enough to sell this book. I think the people working on it is more than enough to sell this book. I think the fact that it's a Sandman book to begin with is enough to sell it. Do you really need to draw away from the wonderful artwork and the aesthetics of the formatting by putting a dumb quote on there?
Really didn't need to do that.
Yeah, Judge Gallows may be the scariest villain introduced this year. Okay.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know who the fuck that is.
Right.
And they're not going to.
Yeah, without fucking frame of reference, what's the point of even making that statement?
You can put that on the back of the book or in the inside cover. Don't put it on the cover, because that's the part that people want to collect and kind of frame, And
Yeah.
it draws away from what should be, getting the most attention. If you want to put it on the front of the volume, great. That's where it should go.
Right.
You don't need it on the front of the new issue.
Yeah, you should definitely, any publisher should be saving quotes like that for volumes or the inside of the back cover.
Yeah, and I don't want to skew too negative. Again, Jay Lee did a wonderful job. The art is wonderful. The aesthetic is wonderful. The formatting is wonderful. All around great work from DC and from Jay Lee. And really want to congratulate you for getting the cover of the week. Next up, we get the Variant Cover of the Week award, and it goes to none other than Young Justice #1 from DC Comics, the Superboy cover, done by none other than Jorge Jimenez.
Jorge Jimenez.
Who I really, really love. Jorge Jimenez is kind of broken out this past year. He's done work in the past for sure, but I think this has been his kind of coming out this year and maybe a little bit of the year prior, where he's just released some really awesome covers. He had a really great Nightwing variant cover. He did some covers for Justice League Odyssey that are really great. He did some covers for the new Justice League book, I think. I can't remember if it was a variant or if it was the main cover, but just outstanding work. And he's just consistently been one of my favorite new artists kind of in the business, especially at the top tier end of the business, doing awesome variant covers. And this cover, it just embodies everything that I liked and remembered from the kind of 90s, early 2000s Superboy. Where he did have that kind of goofy over the top leather jacket and the unnecessary belts all over the place, and just had what became a really popular haircut in the modern age. It's just everything about the cover just screams cool. But 90s cool.
Yeah.
And I love it in just about every way. I mean, it's something that has a clear, distinct style.
I kind of not so secretly love this particular Superboy, particularly the one that we had in the 90s that came right after the death of Superman. I've kind of loved that one to death, even though they kind of got rid of him as quickly as they could.
Yeah.
His design was something that immediately popped out to me whenever I was looking at any kind of Superman comic where this character, which I was like, whoa, like what the fucking 90s. The 90s were a wild time to be alive.
And I mean, this cover just reeks of Mr. Steal Your Girl. It's so good. I just really enjoy it. It's so goofy and so campy almost. I just love it.
Yeah, to take a bit from professional screenwriter Max Landis, yes, this is the version of Superboy where it looks like he should be some kind of Chippendales dancer, because who the fuck wears that?
Superboy wears that, and that's all you need to know.
Superboy wears that.
Superboy said so, and that's that.
But there is a fun thing that I'm just now noticing. He's wearing a side pouch.
He is wearing a side pouch.
He is actually actively addressing his lack of pockets.
That's where he carries his breath mints, cigarettes.
Yeah, and his fucking condoms.
Dude, he's Kryptonian. He doesn't need that. He burns those STDs off with laser vision.
Kryptonian though he may be, alien chicks he most definitely is probably banging.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Good point. We don't need to be bringing that Martian herp back. Especially when they have that goop sex.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if the white Martians have the sex the same way, with the melding of the white goop.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not need to be reminded of the show The Orville. Sweet Jesus.
But yeah, it's a great cover. Once again, from Jorge Jimenez. He's been doing awesome work throughout the DC books. And I hope they keep giving him more work. I hope he doesn't get stretched too thin like Jim Lee. Poor Jim Lee. It's been worked to the bone.
Can we let Jim Lee go back to Image? Do his own shit for a little bit?
Or just let him breathe a little.
Yeah.
Let him do like one cover a month instead of 12. Yeah, it kind of devalues his work, and it makes his work look rushed, because it probably is, because the poor guy is doing 100 million different things for DC.
Yeah.
Whether it's a YouTube channel, or whether it's his own private channel, or whether it's the millions of covers and the book he's writing, and it's too much for the poor guy.
I get it. They love him over there for good reason. His work's amazing. But don't workhorse your best artist.
Yeah. But yeah, one more time, congratulations to Jay Lee for The Dreaming #5, and congratulations to Jorge Jimenez for his work on the Young Justice #1 variant cover, and Brian Michael Bendis. the fact that you brought back this version of Superboy and teamed him up with Tim Drake has made me interested in your book, and I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna pick it up. All right.
I'm gonna pick it up too.
You got me, Brian. Don't disappoint me.
Against,
all right.
Against my better judgment, I'm going to pick this up.
This better be more Miles Morales than America.
This better be more Miles Morales than Riri.
Speaking of which, we saw a rough cover earlier. Woo.
I don't know who the fuck let that happen.
That Ironheart cover was rough. It was rough. So if you're a fan, happy for you. Not our cup of tea, I don't think.
Nope.
And for our new friends out there, this is the part of the show where we discuss a topic of our choosing about the world of comics. And today I thought it'd be good, since it's a new year after all, to talk about the upcoming comic book projects in the works that are expected to be released in 2019, including shows and comic book projects. I'm not talking about any kind of like second, third, fourth, fifth seasons of any shows, because we already know they exist. What's the point in discussing them?
Right.
But unfortunately, we were gone for a lot more this year than we wanted to be. So I didn't think it would be appropriate to do our kind of top 10 lists like we did last year, which I really enjoyed doing with you. But I feel like it's not appropriate, since we didn't really cover most of these things throughout the year, even though we were, kind of enjoying them throughout the year.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we'll still do that in a week or two when we got more time or something. But I don't.
Yeah, we've got some catching up to do before we do any top 10s.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, there's quite a bit for us to be looking forward to.
Yeah. So with that, let's get into it. First up, let's talk about the shows. First up, that we know of, we have Deadly Class, which is going to premiere on Sci-Fi very soon here on January 16th. Any thoughts on Deadly Class?
Fun fact, the first episode is available for free on YouTube.
Of all things, too.
Yeah.
Sci-Fi doing some weird marketing there.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good tactic. Instead of just having, the stray pilot leak out early, why not just, say, like, yes.
Head them off at the pass, I guess. Yeah.
Like, we have a pilot, it's ready, you be the judge.
Yeah, and that's another weird thing. Sci-Fi is one of those few companies that kind of dips its fingers into both the Marvel worlds and the DC worlds, because it has its show Krypton, which I think is having their second season this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's any good, because quite honestly, I think Sci-Fi kind of has a quality control issue.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out myself because I've been scared to be hurt again.
Yeah, I used to like a lot of the stuff Sci-Fi had on there, but I feel like their original content has been really lacking for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be.
Yeah, it seemed more like what I would normally consider like a made-for-TV movie channel.
Yeah.
And that sucks. You know, like they used to have amazing content.
Yeah. I mean, I used to watch Xena on there, Xena Warrior Princess. They used to have that the Hercules show on there, which is pretty cool. They had reruns of Star Trek on there all the time.
Oh my god.
They would always show some great sci-fi movies that I feel like they never show anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sci-Fi Channel is just not what it used to be. I feel like Sci-Fi used to be a lot more interesting. And they're trying. Don't get me wrong. They're trying.
Yeah.
But I think, we don't need Sharknado any more than we already have, And I realize they kind of play into the goofiness of their shows now, but I don't think that's a good idea for longevity. To rely almost exclusively on a stoner market that want to laugh at something real dumb.
Yeah, it's like if you're trying to be taken seriously as a company, you should at least release some kind of content that by itself should be taken seriously.
Yeah. Next up on the shows list, we got Umbrella Academy that will be on Netflix starting February 15th. Do you know anything about Umbrella Academy?
Absolutely not.
I know it's a comic. That's about all I know.
Yeah, same.
So, sorry. Can't really dive more into that. Maybe I'll look more into it for next week's episode, but I have no idea what the hell it is. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Cannon Busters, which is kind of obscure udon book. It's almost like a manga, but American.
Yeah.
And this one's going to be on Netflix starting March 1st. So, what I'm gathering from this is they're just trying to kind of replace their Marvel stuff with anything they can get the rights to.
It kind of looks like that.
But we'll see how it turns out. Netflix generally does a pretty good job, even when the stuff, much like with the Marvel Universe movies, even when it's not great, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's still enjoyable. Next up, we have DC Superhero Girls that will be on the Cartoon Network starting sometime in 2019. We have The Watchmen show, which is slated to start on HBO sometime in 2019 here. We have a whole slate of different DC Universe shows, many that have already started, but some that are expected to start this year. We already know about Titans, which has already had a decent portion of its run. We have the Doom Patrol show with Cyborg. I don't know why.
It's coming up soon, so yeah.
Yeah, we have Swamp Thing coming later in the year. Don't know yet if that's a live action show or if that's a cartoon.
I'm assuming Swamp Thing is a live action thing.
Yeah. We have the animated Harley Quinn show, which is apparently going to kind of end the year for the DC streaming app. Am I forgetting any of them?
Did you mention Stargirl?
Stargirl's the other one. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's another one that's expected towards the end. Again, don't know if it's going to be a live action thing or an animated thing.
Yeah.
Based on their timeline, I'd assume it's a live action thing. But
that is actually a character that I remember from
the Justice League cartoon.
Not
Justice
that.
League Unlimited.
Not that either.
How dare you? She was hot.
And
Perhaps from my wall.
Oh, yeah.
On the Justice League United cover.
Oh, she's still hot. But there was a live action version of this character that actually showed up. Yeah.
Where?
On the show you'd probably never watch.
Probably not.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Definitely not. I watched clips of the first Constantine crossover. That's it.
Because hashtag save Constantine.
Yes. Matt Ryan is awesome, and he deserves his own show. NBC, you fucks.
Just give it back to him.
Ugh.
Please, for the... okay, how about this? You take Constantine, put it on the DC Universe app, and watch all of those subscriptions roll right the fuck in.
Look at that. I would fucking pay for your app if you put Constantine starring Matt Ryan, not an animated feature, a live action feature on your streaming app.
You goddamn
I'm telling you right here,
Yep.
right now, I'm putting my money on the table. I don't have my wallet on me, but it's somewhere around here.
Yeah,
I will
we do money
literally
in card anyway.
record myself buying your app to watch Constantine if you announce Constantine live action will be on your streaming app.
Do it. Do it.
I swear, hand on heart, I will do it. Do it. So what'd you think? Did you actually watch Stargirl on that episode or just know that it happened?
I mean, she was a member of a team.
Okay.
Yeah, she showed up and did magic. And...
Was her dad there?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So look forward to that.
Yep. Proper Stargirl is what I'm assuming they're going to do with this one.
We could just rename her.
You could.
Shatterstar. How's that sound? Instead of Stargirl, that's lame. Shatterstar is a cool name.
Yeah, you know what sounds better than Shazam? Captain Marvel. Oh, no, wait. No, we can't do that one.
Oh. Next up on the docket, we have The Boys going on Amazon Prime there sometime in 2019.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, look forward to that one. Why are you crying?
Okay, look forward to being scarred for life.
Oh, yeah. That's the way I like it, and that's what I'm sticking to.
Oh.
And then, even though I said I wouldn't do this, I'm going to do it. The Tick Season 2 is going to be on Amazon this year.
Oh, worth
And
it.
I'm just saying that because it's probably the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, because the Tick Season 1 on Amazon Prime is fucking awesome.
Right?
The Amazon-produced The Tick is great. It's heartwarming. It's hilarious. The characters are great. It's well acted. Watch it.
It got everything right.
It is so good. And if you are not watching it, you are doing yourself a disservice.
It got everything right.
I don't know how. I don't know how.
That should have been the easiest thing to fuck up.
I feel like The Tick is just riddled with things you could ruin and just make not enjoyable. And it nailed everything and added to it. It made it heartwarming.
It's so good.
It made The Tick heartwarming.
Who does that?
What? It's great. Watch it. Season 2 coming this year.
Yep.
Look forward to it.
So hype.
And then finally for the shows, we got The Rocketeer. It's going to be a Disney Junior show sometime in 2019.
Wait, the what?
So look forward to that, kiddies. It's the little Rocketeer. He's got a little rocket on his back, and he's got the weird helmet and the little golden helmet.
Can they call it Rocketeer Junior?
Maybe. But yeah. So look forward to that there. Next up, we'll talk about the movies.
Ooh, yes.
The first one I'm going to talk about, we already know Aquaman came out just at the tail end of last year and kind of is bleeding into this year. But we already talked about Aquaman, so yeah, whatever. Next up, this one is not technically a comic book movie, but it's in a movie universe that is about as close to a comic book as you could imagine. And this one is Glass, which is the sequel to M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable, which is kind of like a cult classic. I watched it one time when it came out, and I don't remember anything from it, so I'm going to have to rewatch it. I know that there's the guy, Bruce Willis, that just basically is invulnerable, kind of. And then there's the guy, Mr. Glass, that believes he's like the opposite balance in the universe, and he's super fragile but evil.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the actual plot of the movie was, other than that they address each other.
Yeah. The plot of that movie is, you have a very, very breakable nerd who gets really into comics because, what the fuck is a kid whose bones break at like the slightest impact going to do except read? Mom gets him into comics, and then we get to see a person who has unbreakable bones and unbreakable skin.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Glassman.
He's kind of like white Luke Cage.
Yeah. Thanks, M. Night Shyamalan.
It's like, what
Plot twist. Luke Cage is white.
What if you took Luke Cage but made him white?
I see white people.
Oh my god.
I see around like unbreakable people.
They're everywhere. But then is like, okay, this, like, what does this nerd do who's obsessed with comic books? He tries to make his fantasy a reality, and either unknowingly or fully knowingly basically makes himself into a supervillain.
Yeah. I remember vaguely these details, but I'll have to rewatch it before I watch this movie.
Yeah.
And apparently, I guess spoilers, that one weird that wasn't me. That was Patricia movie. I don't remember what it's called. Split, thank you. That movie is apparently tied into this cinematic universe somehow. I guess it's a spoiler for the end of that movie, but it's kind of late now. I didn't see it, so
it's been about a year or so since that movie, but
if you were going to see it, I feel like you would have seen it already, but apparently it's tied into this movie, and I only know because it was in the trailer.
Yeah. So if you want to see Glass, you should probably see both of these movies so that you're not taken completely by surprise.
Yeah. So now, I'm a closet M. Night Shyamalan fan. I know people hate him because of Last Airbender and because every single movie has the gimmick at the end.
Every twist! He turned himself into a meme.
Yeah. but I still love him. You know, The Sixth Sense is one of the greatest movies of all time. I mean, it's hard to argue against that. I mean, it's up there in the top lists, you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his movie is the biggest reason why people even know what spoilers are.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of revolutionary at the time, the way he made that. You know, he had the high tier actors. Obviously, he works with Bruce Willis a lot.
Yup.
But that was the entire reason I saw Unbreakable the first time. I wouldn't have had any interest in that movie originally, but I saw it because I remember Bruce Willis was great, and I remember M. Night Shyamalan was great with The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
He had a few other movies that were, you know, a lot of them were flops, unfortunately, but I still enjoyed a lot of them, and I wouldn't say they were up to The Sixth Sense standard, but I felt like he had such a high standard built from The Sixth Sense that he could never hope to kind of hit that mark again. And I think his career kind of suffered because of it, because everybody expected him to reach that level again, and he just couldn't recapture it, you know.
I think his success, I had actually seen what looked like a pattern for a while, because the first one, Sixth Sense, did very, very well. Unbreakable, not nearly as well.
Yeah, it kind of became a cult classic, but financially did not do well.
And then Signs happened.
Signs, yeah,
that
which
did
is
really well.
as an interesting movie to say the least.
Yeah.
That one had Mel Gibson in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I remember now. Movie wasn't bad. It was just very strange. I don't know.
Suspense.
Yeah.
He was very good at suspense. And then right after that one, I think, was The Village.
The Village is the one that I think everybody credits with his kind of downfall and like his downturn.
Yeah.
However, that being said, I actually like that movie a lot. I think people look on it a little harshly because it wasn't like, there's the big plot twist at the end, but everybody was like, well, that wasn't cool at all, you know? Like, oh, that's kind of lame. Like, I get it, but I actually like it in the context of the story.
It's an all right, interesting, original idea. It's like,
he took a risk, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wanted some big supernatural thing. Spoilers for a very old movie that nobody remembers.
Yeah.
They're like a little commune, and they trick the people to stay there by creating a fake monster. That's the plot twist at the end.
Yeah.
I get it. Not as exciting as he's been dead the whole time, but I enjoyed it a lot, and I thought there was some genuinely like creepy, scary moments in the movie, you know, and you buy into what this commune is feeling, like the younger members of the commune are feeling, because they genuinely believe this thing is real, and then at the end you find out, holy crap, you know, this is just a bunch of crazy professors that wanted to create their own commune in a national park, you know, hidden away.
Yeah.
Like, all right. Their kind of thought experiment, you know?
Yeah, it was an interesting concept.
Yeah.
The ending, like, a lot of people didn't like it, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then
but yeah,
after that movie...
That movie gets a bad rap, and I liked it.
Yeah. After that movie, it was Lady in the Water, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, that one I don't think did as well, and that, I think, was the beginning of the downfall, because...
Was that the one where... she's the ghost is like a girl that's been dead in the lake because the husband killed her? Or am I thinking of a different movie?
You might be thinking of a different movie.
Yeah, I think of
this was like a magical lady, like at the bottom somehow, like even further down past like the cement bottom of a communal pool at an apartment complex.
Okay, yeah, I definitely didn't see this.
Yep.
I don't. Yeah.
That movie was weird.
Yeah, I feel like Kevin Costner was in the one I saw. I don't know. It's like,
you might be thinking of Mr. Brooks. That's a different movie.
Nah, I don't think. I can remember the poster for it. It has the woman like with the tub filled up and like dripping out in her hands like on the side of the tub.
Oh,
can't remember.
That sounds like What Lies Beneath.
That might be it. That
Yeah.
sounds right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Anyways,
That movie was good.
Yeah.
that was a great movie.
that was Harrison Ford. He was in that one.
Harrison. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this was the downfall.
I should have guessed Dennis Quaid. Poor man's Harrison Ford.
Dennis Quaid. Close enough. It was Lady in the Water, The Happening.
Yes, The Happening I saw and was like, wow, that was real dumb. Sorry.
And then it was Last Airbender.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't want to watch these movies anymore. But then fucking Split happens.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, fine.
And he had that other movie that was real creepy looking too. That one with the grandparents. I can't remember where it seems like the grandparents are like trying to subtly murder the grandkids as they stay with them. I can't remember what it was called, but it looked good, and I heard good reviews about it. I just never got around to seeing it.
I think I know what you're talking about, but the name escapes me.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's like at grandma's house or something weird. But
yeah.
it was like a really low budget movie that he made, and apparently it was really good. So it was like the first little kick that he got to get things going again.
Oh.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I need to see that movie. So
Unbreakable. Watch Unbreakable. Watch Split before you watch Glass.
yeah, so we'll probably need plenty of context for it. So.
Oh yeah.
Next up on the docket, we have Captain Marvel coming out on March 8th.
March 8th.
So this will be the next branch connecting the final Avengers Endgame event, which is coming later in the year.
Yeah.
We had Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I still need to see, I know.
Yep.
But
I'm assuming.
I'm assuming there's quantum realm shenanigans that are going to lead to solutions for Avengers Endgame.
the most recent trailer for Avengers Endgame makes that very clear.
So, without seeing the movie, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the gist of the movie.
Yep.
Quantum realm shenanigans.
Ant-Man relevant.
But you would know better than I would because you actually saw it. So
I did.
not that I don't like Ant-Man. I like Ant-Man a lot in the movies.
Yep, he's really cool in the movies.
I just haven't caught up. But Captain Marvel, apparently in the 90s, early 90s, I'm assuming, where we have a de-aged Samuel L. Jackson.
Yep.
And a Captain Marvel. And a Captain Marvel, played by Jude Law, probably, apparently. Although apparently
he's
they've been
young
denying
rogue.
that. But we'll see.
Yeah.
And we know that Ronan's in it.
Right.
Which is
because
weird.
This takes place before the events of Guardians of the Galaxy.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll redeem Ronan to you a little bit. I know you had some issues with how he was portrayed in Guardians.
Yeah, he was speaking a whole lot of space nonsense and referencing things that had happened like completely off screen. So maybe shedding a little bit of light on that might help.
But maybe we'll get a little bit more insight into this version of the Sovereign. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll just get a bunch of Kree bullshit that we don't care about. Maybe
more Kree bullshit.
Maybe what we find out is that the entire cast of the Avengers are Kree. And that it's all a Kree plot.
Almost as if some kind of secret invasion had happened.
That kind of sucked. I hated Secret Invasion. It was real dumb. It was just an excuse for Iron Man to fuck a green chick.
And it was less that and more of an excuse to say, oh, you remember how these characters were acting out of character?
Yeah, that wasn't bad writing. It was the Kree.
Aliens. No, not
Too
the
bad they
Kree.
didn't explain the Nazi Captain America that way. Instead, they used a mystic blue cube, who is a young girl.
Yeah, the
Apparently.
Kree aren't the shapeshifters. The Skrulls.
Skrulls. Excuse me.
Right.
Fucking nerd.
Fuck you, I know shit.
I stand corrected.
Yes. In case you're wondering why Captain Marvel beats up on an elderly woman, it's because she's not elderly. That elderly woman is a shapeshifter. Never trust old people.
Or maybe the Skrull tricked her. And it really is an old lady.
Oh,
and she
no.
just killed that old woman.
Like a villain.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Wow.
dark turn.
That'd be a ballsy move for a
Ooh.
Marvel movie, wouldn't it?
Oh, rated R. I can see it now.
Captain Marvel. The murderer.
Oh. I'm just imagining a Captain Marvel, but the R in Marvel is like bigger than the rest of the letters. Like, ooh.
Yeah. So I'm interested in seeing how much Earth stuff this is focused on and how much space nonsense this is going to be focused on. Guardians of the Galaxy might be the one exception for me, but generally when there's more space shenanigans, I just like lose interest. I'm not a space guy. Even though I love Star Trek and, I like aspects of Green Lantern storylines,
Yeah.
typically not too into the space stuff. Just not my thing.
Yeah. The last time we deep dived into space, an entire team of people were trying to kill Space Kurt Russell.
Dad?
Son?
Should we play Cosmic Catch?
Yes. I think we should. In space.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, did I tell you I'm a god?
That you are too?
Oh, yeah. See, here it is. Here's the ball. You're gonna catch it?
Thank you, Dad.
Oh,
I'm gonna go kill your cosmic sperm now.
Wait, what? I didn't agree to this. I'm gonna throw you in the trash like all the others.
Hat. But yeah, are you excited for this?
No.
Wow. That's a little sad. Since you are the Marvel guy, I would expect you to be the fan of this.
Yeah, the only reason I'm going to see this movie is because of
Rogue?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
And I honestly don't think there's going to be very much of him in this movie because they're heaping the space shenanigans on this one pretty thick.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we saw him significantly, we saw a little cameo of him at the end of a big movie from last year. Yeah, I don't think I should spoil it, just in case people are catching up.
Yeah.
Big movie released last year. He appears, but very briefly. But that being said, we haven't really seen him since Winter Soldier, right? That's the last significant role we saw him in.
Yeah.
That's a couple of years now, right? At least 2, right?
Yeah, he didn't even show up in Civil War.
Yeah, so he's been kind of out of commission, laying low for a long time now. And it'll be interesting to see how much they use him, even this de-aged, Disney-fied version of him.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Samuel L. Jackson, like in football terms, is like a player who's been warming the bench for a little bit. Is like, oh, yeah, put me in, coach.
Yeah, it just seems weird because it really has felt like the Avengers don't really have a real leader. I mean, there's kind of Tony and kind of, Captain America, but neither one of them seem very good at it. So
neither one of them seem to be committed to getting better at leading.
I feel like that's where he would have kind of stepped in and coordinated things a little better, I would think.
Yeah.
Maybe if he had been around, they wouldn't have had to have a little civil war, but it wouldn't be as fun for us fans. So
right.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it as much as any other Marvel movie, more just because I think it's going to give some kind of input into the whole Avengers Endgame storyline there. But it should be a good movie, It's Marvel. They do what they do. It'll either be good or great. Really, don't expect anything less.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if it did any kind of bad.
Yeah. So, looking forward to that. We'll see how it goes. And hey, at least Rogue has somebody to suck powers from.
Hooray!
Enters the Marvel universe.
Exactly what I've wanted this whole time.
Now, next up is the biggest release of the year. DC's Shazam premieres April 5th. Now, if you have not seen this trailer, I recommend you go watch it. It is awesome. It is exactly what Shazam is and should be, and the true Captain Marvel, mind you. I don't like this imposter showing up a month earlier. All right? Shazam is the true and one final Captain Marvel, and I will not hear otherwise. Mostly because he can't say his name otherwise. It's very inconvenient.
Like, so wait, how do you tell anyone what your name is?
Shazam! Oh,
yeah.
Man. Not again.
This is so inconvenient. I need a different name.
I should have wore pants. But yeah, this trailer, again, DC is really good at making great trailers for really terrible movies. This trailer looks great. I hope I'm not disappointed. That's all I'm going to say. However, I think it has hope because it's exclusively a comedy. If they make it exclusively a comedy-focused thing, whereas Suicide Squad, they tried to make it serious when it was clearly meant to be a comedy, and they failed both ways.
Oh, yeah.
Horrendously. I'm hoping this one, they just dive right into being a comedy, and they just own it. Because that's what I think Shazam should be, and will probably be at its best with. It's okay if you have some, big villain fights, have a Black Adam in there, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, maybe? I don't know.
He's not going to be in this one.
How dare you? He's got to be in this one. They're lying to you. What else is he got to be in? Come on.
I've seen who's supposed to be the villain, and it looks like the same guy who played Sinestro from the Green Lantern movie.
What?
Yeah.
What? Black Adam. This movie's going to be a blockbuster. You wait and see. This movie is going to sell 2 billion tickets. All right?
Let's hope.
All domestic.
All domestic. China wants nothing to do with Shazam, apparently.
So are you looking forward to this at all? I definitely am, clearly.
I am, but I've been hurt before.
Don't you fuck me on this. This will be great.
I had hopes for Aquaman based purely on the fact that, James Wan trying to separate himself as much as he possibly could from what's already been established. And he achieved some of that to some extent, for better or worse.
Worse.
With Shazam, much like most people going into this is like a blank slate. Like, not many people know of the Electric Superman outside of the other Electric Superman that were both part of one single Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, the 90s were a weird time. Sorry, guys.
The 90s were very weird. Very creative, but very weird.
Yeah.
This new Electric Superman already has the benefit of not just looking, but acting completely different from the Superman that we've got.
Now, is this who's the actors portraying Shazam? Zachary Levy?
Yes.
Levy? I always pronounce his name wrong.
Zachary Levy.
Zachary Levy. That dude looks perfect. I didn't buy into it when I heard he was announced as the guy, and I was like, I feel like they could have found someone better. But in the suit and everything, with the way he's delivering his lines, it's perfect. It's perfect. He looks like the man-child I want him to be. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Like, literally any image of Zachary Levi with any kind of promotional material, he literally has the biggest smile.
Yeah, he's nailed
It's
it.
like,
He's
oh my
nailed
God.
it.
It's like he knows what Shazam is,
Yeah.
and more importantly, I think he knows what it's supposed to be.
This
which
movie
is-
needs an Oscar. I'm telling you right now. Needs an Oscar. I don't care if it's for costume design, VFX. I don't care. It needs something. All right.
If fucking Suicide Squad can win a fucking Oscar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 They need something. Shazam has got to be the one.
Next up on the docket for the year. This is a loaded year for superhero movies. I'm just going to say it. Like, last year was pretty loaded. This year is fucking really loaded.
Ooh.
But there's a lot of quality last year, so hopefully it's the same this year. Next up, we have Hellboy being released on April 12th with the new Hellboy.
David Harbour.
Yeah. Famous for his acting on Stranger Things.
Yes.
Probably primarily as the sheriff.
Our favorite schlubby sheriff.
Yeah. And we really liked the promo photos when they were originally released, but now we've seen a trailer. Do you still feel as high on it?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know. Maybe it was just a bad trailer.
I'm thinking it was a bad trailer.
But it kind of squashed my excitement for this.
Not only was that trailer poorly cut, but the music that they synced to it.
Yeah, it just wasn't.
It wasn't on brand, at all. It was like, I don't know how you guys screwed this up this bad already.
Yeah, I have hopes that because I like David Harbour and I I like Hellboy and
yeah,
I like the universe. These things should work.
These things should be like a fucking Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah,
like these things should go well together. But from what I've seen, I am worried.
Yeah,
I'm thoroughly worried.
I hope it's good. I hope it's great. Even I don't know. I mean, maybe Perlman should have came back.
Perlman at fucking 70-something years old.
I don't care. You put a bunch of red shit on him. He'll look just fine. CG's gonna do half the work for him. All he's got to do is put on a red suit.
Oh, let CG
put
do
some horns.
all of the work for him. Let him just record his lines.
I think the biggest thing that stood out for me is that whereas not David Harbour's, but Perlman's Hellboy kind of looked, just like goofy enough to like kind of make the transition between the seriousness of it and the kind of like, campy fun of it.
Yeah.
I feel like Harbour's version, and this isn't his fault, it's the design. Harbour's version looks way too serious for the lines he's delivering in the trailer.
Right.
Like all the lines seem to be like a joke and they're just falling flat because he looks like a much more serious character, just aesthetically looking.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
his face.
Yeah, I don't.
The shit that they added to his face, I don't know how you get to put what's basically, at least whenever I look at this face, it looks like someone took Ron Perlman's face and tried to like shape match it like up to a certain extent, except for like the chin.
Yeah, and he's got the weird like beard dreads thing going on, like almost Lobo-ish. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
He's got a lot more hair than I remember Hellboy ever having.
And again, I hope it's great. I love Hellboy, love Harbour and everybody involved in the project. That trailer just worried me. I don't know what else to say. Hopefully the next trailer's better. Hopefully
let's hope.
I think hopefully it was just a poorly made trailer for a good movie, We'll see though. Next up, we got the big one, Avengers Endgame, April 26th. So the story finally comes full circle. We'll see what happens. We've been building up to this for 10 years. We got the first half of it last year and now we're getting the second half.
Yeah. This kind of turnaround is, not only is it rare that movies like this come out this quick.
Mm-hmm.
But to go from like a 1 to a 2, like a first half and a second half of a whole story, and for it to actually come out good is like that's the thing. A lot of people have forgotten The Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions.
Yeah.
And how, while creative, kind of derailing some of the decisions that they made and like the questions that they raise as a result.
Yeah.
But in the capable hands of people like Feige and all of his minions,
The Russo brothers.
Which they haven't really done much outside 2 of the Captain America movies, and if I'm not mistaken, they also did a little show called Arrested Development.
Yeah. I mean, they did Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was them too.
Mm-hmm.
So, fucking finish what you started.
Yep.
We're all gonna watch.
Yep.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. So, scale 1 to 10, how excited are you for it?
I'm an 8.
Yeah. See, I don't know why. I just can't bring myself to be that excited for it. And I think it's because I love the ending of the first one so much that I don't want them to renege on it. Like I feel like they're going to renegotiate everything because they got to make money somehow, and they don't have access to the X-Men and all that stuff yet. So they can't really do a reboot. Especially since they already announced. I think the biggest mistake they made was announcing all the movies coming after it. They should have just left the docket completely empty until after the movie, Avengers Endgame came out, and then announced, hey, Spider-Man Far From Home is coming out, and hey, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is coming out, although now it's not.
Yeah.
Not their fault, but, Batista, whatever.
I'm actually kind of shocked that you aren't more hype, given how, while improbable, the possibility of someone like Hugh Jackman
it's not happening
showing up.
Yeah. I want to see him in Deadpool more than anything, and that's obviously
not happening.
It's obviously not happening now,
right?
Because Fox is gone. So
Fox is gone. Hugh Jackman is more content to do show
Huge
tunes.
Jacked man. Yeah, and I get it. You're good at singing, but we like you as Wolverine a lot. Probably more than any other character ever. Maybe next to Patrick Stewart is Jean-Luc Picard. That's about it.
They were pretty perfect together.
I mean, can we get the band back together a little bit? Maybe have a reunion tour, maybe make an appearance in a Marvel movie, maybe make an appearance in, anything.
Just have Wolverine be
I want huge jacked man back. We'll give you all the money. Just come back. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, keep wishing.
Yeah. So, I mean, clearly, I think I have a little bit of hope that maybe they're not just going to bring everybody back. But I don't know. I kind of hope that the title Far From Home with the Spider-Man movie is a clue that maybe he doesn't come back to our Earth. Maybe he's far from home. I don't know. Maybe it's all a ploy. Maybe it's not even Tom Holland. Maybe it's some Miles Morales.
Oh.
And it's all just a big switcheroo to make you think they're gonna bring everybody back in Endgame.
Oh,
that would be ballsy.
That would be
that would be even ballsier. Now, if something like that happens, my hype is a 10. Like
they actually fucking
skyrocketing
maintain that shit the whole way through.
But I'm so
everyone knows.
I called it even before we saw the movie. I'm like, some bullshit's gonna happen. A bunch of people are gonna disappear, and then they're gonna do some quantum realm shenanigan bullshit. and mix some Kree bullshit in there, and then everything's gonna happen because we already knew these movies were all coming out, and then they were gonna bring everybody back and pretend that nothing happened. La da 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 da. Marvel, and I don't want that to happen. I want the ending of the first movie to mean something, and if Endgame,
as it should.
And if Endgame just kind of brings everybody back and pretends like nothing happened because it was the one solution, thank you, Doctor Strange, then it kind of ruins a lot of the great context for the end of the first Infinity War movie.
Yeah.
So I'd say my hype's like a 6. And that's more because I don't want it to happen. not because I'm not excited for the experience of watching it. So we'll see. But yeah, that's coming up real soon here. A lot sooner than we think. And it's
fast approaching.
We'll see how it goes. Next up on the docket, I'm not convinced this movie's happening still, but X-Men Dark Phoenix,
Cancel it.
Last of the Fox holdouts, is supposed to come out June 7th. We've seen a lot of promo stuff for it, trailers, blah blah blah. I don't think it should come out. From everything we hear, from everything we see, looks terrible. And I think it's a big waste of time, and I think it's just the people who have invested in Fox's properties just trying to get their money back. And I kind of hope it doesn't happen. So I don't think we need to confuse fans any more than we already have with this whole transition that we're going to go through.
Too late.
Just cancel it. You clearly delayed it enough. I don't think anybody would care if you canceled it, but that's just me. You feel the same way? More or less?
Yeah, I hate everything about this movie.
So, yeah. And we know that Hugh Jackman's not going to be in it, so what's the point? Next up, Spider-Man Far From Home, a movie we talked about earlier. Comes out July 6th, so a big summer movie for us. Tom Holland's great. Gonna watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Easily.
Hopefully Michael Keaton's in it, because Michael Keaton's wonderful.
We've got
And
Jake Gyllenhaal this time.
I don't care. Michael Keaton needs to make an appearance. He's the best Marvel villain overall. And I will
make an
fight.
appearance from prison.
I will fight anybody who says otherwise. Come at me, bro.
Thanos.
Don't tweet at me. Or tweet at me. I don't care. Come at me.
Maybe he died from the snap.
No, Scorpion died from the fucking snap. That's who died. Michael Keaton's still rolling. All right. I don't want to hear your bullshit.
But he's Batman.
He's Birdman. But yeah, looking forward to that a lot. That one, hype meter, solid 8 or 9. But again, the only thing holding me back is like, do I really want him back though? Do I really want everybody in the Marvel universe to do their thing like normal? Or do I want the Infinity War movie to mean something?
From what I've heard, there are going to be... I don't know if anyone from the Snappening is going to...
The Snappening. Nice illusion there.
A little. Worked it in a little.
We changed reality.
Yep. Yeah, the thing with that whole thing is, well, you could literally say anyone was killed with that.
Except the ones we confirmed are still alive on screen.
Right.
So, yeah.
And those same people could come back. I do remember reading at least a couple of different sources saying that while a lot of the people who died were going to be coming back, there were going to be people who stayed dead. Specifically, quite possibly,
the Guardians of the Galaxy, because Twitter exists?
Oh, poor Twitter.
Damn you, James Gunn.
Ooh.
Ugh.
They know who they hired.
That's true. They probably should have.
Yeah.
I mean, you market primarily to kids, and you had a guy that was making pedophilia jokes a long time ago on a public forum. I feel like that's very easily investigatable, but whatever.
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, you could. I mean, you could have Michael Keaton show up. He might.
You could. Should. Will.
But there's also the possibility that he doesn't.
Nope. We're done with this conversation.
Oh, we're
Nope.
done.
He's appearing, and that's final. Thank you. And it will also win an Oscar
Okay,
for Best Supporting Cast Member.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
He's Birdman.
He really is great in Homecoming, though. Just outstanding. Him and Tom Holland both. Just that whole cast is just so solid.
Tom Holland is so good.
It's so. How can you take Robert Downey Jr., who's the most charismatic, well-portrayed character in that universe, up to that point, and kind of make him a flake next to you, Tom Holland, and Michael Keaton? Holy shit, dude. They did an awesome job. All right, I'm done.
Yep.
Love the Spider-Man movies right now.
We want more.
Excited. Next up on the Death of FX tour, excuse me, we have New Mutants, which is...
New Mutants.
It was supposed to come out, I think, April of 2018, right? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It got delayed several times, and now it's coming out in August of 2019, a year and a half later.
We'll see if they hold to that one.
I don't know if we're ever going to see that movie. And I don't think it could ever live up to any expectation placed on it, because I feel like there have been so many hands in this pot that it is going to be a gross, disgusting amalgamation of everybody's input and not be coherent whatsoever.
Anytime
there have
been
way too many
reshoots.
There's been way too many reshoots, too many directors coming in and going out, and too many writers coming in and going out, and too many fan responses / production responses to fan input based on trailers. Yeah. It's probably not. It's probably not going to be worth seeing, unfortunately. And then one I'm really excited for on October 14th. We're expecting the kind of Elseworlds DC movie Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, and Zazie Beetz. This one, after I saw the photos and everything and saw that, yes, they're not going the Snyderverse route, I got really excited for. This one, I think, has a lot of potential. They're targeting an R rating, which is a great sign. Like, it's a Scorsese produced film. Like, everything,
they have so much going for it.
Everything feels good, and I just hope they don't drop the ball. I really hope this is really successful, because it'll give them a clear representation of what they can do, and that they can stray away from the Snyderverse and not make these god-awful CGI drowned $400 million budget movies that are just poorly written and way too long. I think if they make a really good, solid, coherent, focused movie with this Joker movie that's separate from the DCEU, we'll be in a lot of luck and be in for a really great movie.
Yeah, there's so little to go on with this, but I think that kind of works in its favor, just for sake of the fact that we can speculate all day, have no idea, and I really hope they don't release anything else. I just want to be surprised by this.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for it. If you want to give me like a short teaser trailer in addition to what we've already seen, I'm sold. Thank you. Here's my money. Please
Shut
don't
up and take my money.
Just don't be bad.
Please.
And then finally for the movies, they announced last year that McFarlane is working on another Spawn movie.
Spawn?
Supposedly starring Jamie Foxx.
Wait, but why though?
Reasons? he had some free time.
Reasons aside from trying to throw his
Kanye won't record songs with him anymore. So he's just kind of chilling.
Oh.
Sony won't give him another Spider-Man role. He's bored, man. He's just got time.
He's got to work like everyone else.
So yeah, I think Spawn could be great.
Potential is there.
Jamie Foxx, not a bad actor. McFarlane loves his own creation quite a bit and is very protective of it, notoriously so. Don't know how good of a director he is, but supposedly he's trying to direct this movie. We'll see how that works out. I do love McFarlane. I think he's a great comic creator and great comic mind. So, I hope for the best.
And
I mean,
really...
to our knowledge, it hasn't even started shooting yet, so I don't understand how they could expect a 2019 release. I would expect this in 2020 at the earliest. But supposedly it's coming out sometime at the end of this year. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's... hopes are high, expectations are low.
Yeah, so... good luck with that. Hopefully it does turn out good. I never wish for any of these things to be bad, except the DCEU stuff, because I want the DCEU to die so we can create a new DCEU. But generally speaking, I wish for the success of all these things. And even though Shazam is part of the DCEU, I wish for that success because it looks so great. And you sure know how to make a trailer.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Well, folks, I think that wraps up another mediocre edition of Hit the Books podcast.
Mediocre.
I want to thank you all for sticking with us. If you like what you hear, be sure to hit like and subscribe and follow us on your podcast services of choice and on these social networks. We're on Twitter at HTBVids, VIDS. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/hitthebooks. Our website is htbvids.com. Remember, you can always find us on Patreon at patreon.com/hitthebooks. Any support you want to give, we very much appreciate. So please give us a ring on there if you so choose. And if not, just enjoy the content. We appreciate having you around.
Oh, yeah.
I've been your host, Chris Holcomb.
And I'm Emery Saunders.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.
Happy New Year.
I'm not a demon. I believe.
Wife's been cheating with my best friend Steve.
Yeah, I'm a soul stealer. Way over hell.
Biding my time here.
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah, we tried.